Someone's following me.
What, are you sure?
Yes, I saw them outside the window just now.
Okay, stay calm. Tell me what happened.
My name is Marcus, and I'm 32 years old. I work in web design, live in a modest one-bedroom apartment in Portland, and I haven't been on a date in almost 3 years. Not because I didn't want to, I just kept finding reasons not to. Too busy with work, not ready, afraid of rejection. You know, all the usual lies we tell ourselves. My sister finally got tired of my excuses and signed me up on a dating app, which brings me to tonight. Tonight, I'm standing outside the Riverside Cafe at 7:30, and I'm terrified. The evening is crisp, that perfect autumn weather where the air feels alive. I'm wearing the same navy button-up I've worn to every semi-important event for the past 5 years, and I've already checked my reflection in the cafe window about 17 times. My hands are in my pockets, then out of my pockets, then back in again. I'm doing that thing where you look at your phone every 5 seconds, not because you're actually expecting a message, but because it gives your hand something to do. I see her before she sees me. She's walking down the sidewalk, and there's something about the way she moves that immediately catches my attention. She's wearing a burgundy coat, and her dark hair is pulled back in a loose braid. She looks nervous. Her eyes are scanning the storefronts, checking addresses. When she spots a cafe, she slows down, takes a breath. I know that breath. I took that same breath about 10 minutes ago when I pulled up to find a parking spot. I stepped forward to open the door for her. "Are you Marcus?" she asked, and her voice is soft, careful, like she's not entirely sure she wants the answer to be yes. "Yeah," I say, pushing the door open wider. "You must be Sarah." She starts to walk past me into the warmth of the cafe, and then she stops. She stops so suddenly that I almost bump into her. Her hand grips the edge of the doorframe, and she turns back to look at me. Her eyes, they're the striking shade of green, are suddenly filled with something that looks a lot like fear. "Someone's following me tonight," she whispers. The words hang between us like a confession, like something secret and urgent that she didn't plan to tell me. Her eyes dart over my shoulder, scanning the darkening street behind us. "What?" I say, and I hate how small my voice sounds. She closes her eyes for a moment, and when she opens them again, there's this look of defeat in them, like she's wrestling with something internally, and she's just decided to tell the truth. "I'm sorry," she says. That's not a good way to start a date. "I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that." "No, it's okay. Is someone actually following you? Do you need to call someone? The police? Oh." "No, it's not like that," she interrupts, and there's a hint of embarrassed laugh in her voice. "It's just my ex. He's not dangerous or anything. He doesn't understand that we're done. We broke up 2 months ago, and he keeps showing up places where he thinks I'll be. My friends told me about you, about tonight, and I told him I had plans, and he said he wanted to make sure I was being safe, like he's my personal bodyguard or something." She looks up at me, and I can see the vulnerability in her face. The uncertainty, the worry that I'm going to judge her or think she's too much trouble. "Is across the street," she says quietly. "In that gray car. He's been there since I got off work. He thinks this is looking out for me. I think it controlling. I don't know. I'm exhausted by it. And I'm sorry for dumping this on you literally the moment we meet. But I also didn't want to waste your time if you were going to take one look at this situation and decide it was too complicated." I glance across the street. Sure enough, there's a gray sedan parked in the shadows, and I can make out a figure in the driver's seat. My first instinct is anger. Not at Sarah, but at this guy, at the idea that she's been dealing with this kind of thing, that she's anxious about her date before it's even started, that she's standing here apologizing to me for having boundaries. "Okay," I say, and I mean it. "Let's go inside. Have coffee. Talk. And if he tries anything, I have my phone." She almost smiles. "You're not running." "Would I be an idiot to run?" "I wouldn't blame you if you did." "Come on," I say, and I guide her into the cafe. The cafe is warm and smells like espresso and cinnamon. We find a corner booth, the kind where you can see the door but you're tucked away enough to feel private. Sarah unwinds her scarf and drapes a burgundy coat over the back of her seat. She's wearing a cream-colored sweater underneath, and she looks both more and less anxious now that we're inside. A server brings us menus. We order coffee for both of us, and she gets a slice of chocolate cake. I get an apple cinnamon muffin. It's so normal that it feels almost surreal. Like we're not sitting here in the middle of this weird, complicated situation. Like she didn't just tell me her ex is parked outside like a character in a bad movie. So, I say, because silence is going to make this weird, tell me something that has nothing to do with that guy. Tell me. I don't know what you do for work. She wraps her hands around the coffee cup when it arrives, and I notice she's wearing no rings. I don't know why that matters, but it does. It feels like confirmation of something. I'm a graphic designer, she says. I work for a marketing firm downtown. It's fine. Pays the bills. I like the people I work with. Not exactly my dream job, but it's stable. What would be your dream job? Honestly, I don't know. Some days I think I'd like to freelance, do my own thing, have control over my projects. Other days I think I'm too afraid of the risk. So I come up with reasons why the stable job is actually perfect. What about you? Web design. And yeah, I know that's not that different. We're basically in the same weird corner of the creative industry. She laughs. A real laugh, not a nervous one. It changes her entire face. That's kind of perfect. Actually, at least you understand the soul-crushing monotony of design projects that don't inspire you. Right? Like, I had a client last month who wanted me to redesign their website because their nephew said the current one looked old. No other feedback, just that it looked old. Oh God, she groans. Please tell me you didn't redo it. I did, and they hated it. Guess what? They said the old one was better. She's laughing again, and this time the sound fills the space between us and pushes out some of the tension. We're finding rhythm now. Real conversation, not the stilted Q&A that usually happens on first dates. We're talking about failed projects, about difficult clients, about that weird phase in your 20s when you're certain you're going to change the world, and then you hit 30 and you're like, oh, this is just life now. 20 minutes in. She's told me about her cat named Oliver, about a trip she took to Portland coast last summer, about her complicated relationship with her mother. 30 minutes in, I'm telling her about my sister's intervention, about how I once dated someone for 6 months who turned out to be dating someone else at the same time, about my irrational fear of deep water even though I grew up near a lake. We've been in the cafe for almost an hour when I notice the energy has changed. We're both leaning slightly forward, our coffee cups nearly empty. There's a comfort between us that wasn't there before. Not the kind of comfort that comes from familiarity. We barely know each other, but the kind that comes from being genuinely understood in the moment. Can I ask you something? Sarah says, and her voice has shifted. It's softer, more intimate. Yeah, of course. Why did you agree to this? The date. I mean, your sister signed you up, but you could have ignored the match. You could have deleted the app, but you didn't. I think about this. It's a fair question, and it deserves an honest answer. Because I was tired of being alone, I say finally. Like, I'm not lonely, you know? I have friends, I have family. But there's a specific kind of aloneness that comes from not sharing certain parts of your life with anyone. And I think I was starting to convince myself that it was safer that way. Like if I didn't try, I couldn't fail. She nods slowly. I get that. Before the ex, before all of this mess outside, I was like that too. After my last relationship ended, I wasn't sure I even wanted to date again. He made me feel like something was wrong with me for wanting space. Like my need for independence was somehow a rejection of him. And now you're here. Now I'm here, she agrees. My therapist said I needed to get back out there, prove to myself that not all guys are going to try to control me. And then I met you, and you seemed normal, and I almost felt hopeful. And then my ex started this nonsense, and I almost canceled tonight. But you didn't. But I didn't, she confirms. She looks out the window toward the street where the gray car is still parked. I was going to let him dictate what I do again. Let him make me anxious about something that could have been really good. And I was just tired of giving him that power. There's something about the way she says this that makes me feel like I'm witnessing something important. Like she's made a decision not just about tonight, but about herself. about who she wants to be. Without thinking too much about it, I reach across the table and gently place my hand near Hayes. Not touching, not yet, just offering the possibility. She looks at our hand for a moment, then she extends her pinky and links it with mine. It's such a small gesture, but it feels monumental. It feels like the most honest thing that could happen in this moment. We stay in the cafe another 30 minutes. Our conversation becomes even more relaxed, more natural. We talk about books we've read, movies we've cried at, places we want to travel. By the time the server brings a check, I realize I don't want this night to end. And from the way Sarah keeps glancing at the clock and then at me, like she's surprised by how fast the time is going, I think she feels the same way. So, I say, picking up the check and not giving her a chance to reach for her wallet, "Would you want to do this again?" She takes a breath. "Yeah, I would. But I think we need to address the elephant in the gray car." "Right. The elephant." "I'm going to text him," she says. She pulls out her phone. "I'm going to tell him that I'm fine, that I'm safe, and that he needs to leave. And if he doesn't respect that, I'm going to block him. Not because I'm afraid of him, but because I'm done." I watch as she types the message. I can see her shoulders get straighter, like the act of doing this is giving her strength. She hits send, and then she looks at me. "Let's wait a second," she says. We watch the window. A moment later, the gray car's headlights flicker on. The engine starts. And then, slowly, it pulls away from the curb and drives down the street. Sarah's eyes well up with tears, but she's smiling. "That was amazing." I say. "That was me," she says. "That was just me, finally, doing what I should have done weeks ago. But it's nice to have someone here to witness it. Someone who didn't try to tell me what to do or minimize it or make it about him." "I think you're pretty great," I tell her. "You barely know me." "I know enough," I say. "I know you're brave. I know you make me laugh. I know you're trying to figure out who you are without apologies. That's pretty great." She reaches across the table and takes my hand properly this time. Not pinky-linked, but palm to palm. Her skin is warm from the coffee cup, and her grip is firm. "Real, can I see you again?" she asks. I was going to ask you the same question. "Then yes," she says. "Absolutely yes." We leave the cafe together. The night has gotten colder, and without thinking, I drape my jacket over her shoulders when I notice a shivering. She doesn't protest. She just tucks into it, and we walk down the sidewalk slowly, in no hurry to get anywhere. We don't kiss. We don't try to rush into something that feels too big. Instead, we walk and talk, and when we reach her car, parked a few blocks away, we stand in the pool of light from a street lamp and just exist together for a moment. The kind of moment that feels suspended outside of time. "Thank you," she says, "for not running away, for listening, for being you. Thank you for taking a chance on tonight, even though it was messy. Especially because it was messy," she says. "It was real. That matters." She gives me back my jacket, and I watch her drive away. I stand there for probably too long, just thinking about the way the night unfolded, about how the worst possible opening to a date somehow became the best one I've ever had, about how sometimes the most meaningful connections come from vulnerability instead of perfection. My phone buzzes. A text from Sarah. "My therapist is going to want to hear all about this. Good thing I have a session Monday." I laugh and type back. "Tell her some guy with questionable fashion sense thinks you're pretty incredible." Her response is immediate. "He doesn't have questionable fashion sense. He had a good jacket." And just like that, I'm smiling in the middle of the sidewalk like an idiot, already thinking about when I can see her again. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more heartfelt tales, and drop a comment letting us know where you're listening from. We'd love to hear your thoughts and connect with you. Thanks for being part of the Unscripted Hearts community.